Nice. Nice. Idea is active. Idea is active. Exit 1. Exit 2. Yo, what is good, family? Hope you all are having an amazing day. In today's video, we're gonna break down the setup we had this morning on the London Open with the private group of students, as you saw on the introduction of the video. And yeah, basically we had this bearish idea. Was pretty clear once we understood the buildup of the candles. So let's kick it off. Basically, let's as always play it back to the open of the session, in this case 8:59 a.m. and we were exactly right here. So we have this high and we have this low. That's pretty much the levels of the structure. Now, something that I wanted to factor in was how this candle was being built, because it's a bearish candle. Supposedly, first the high is made and then the low. So the movement in reality should be like this: high, low, lower high, and lower low. Alright? High, low, lower high, and lower low. So therefore this should be a bearish rule of the third impulse. But in every single doji, I always go to the 1 minute, because on the dojis it's not that as clear as this one. This bullish candle clearly makes the low and then the high. This bullish candle 99.99% of the times will make first the low and then the high because of the order flow. But in dojis like this, you should be going over the 1 minute just to verify. Alright, because if on a trend it's 99.99% of the times, on dojis perhaps it's 95% of the times that on a bearish doji first makes the high and then the low. But just to verify that a small 5% of the situations where on a bearish candle first makes the low and then the high, and this was one of those situations. Alright, we analyzed all of this live, and basically in the 1 minute we can clearly see how the candle, let's go over the M5. This candle is from 8:55 until 8:59, so basically it's from here until here. Okay, we can see that in this portion of time, market first makes the low and then makes the high. In the 5 minutes time frame, this low is this low, and in the 5 minutes time frame, this high, it clearly is this high. Therefore, we understand that market first goes from here all the way down to here. Alright, so it creates this bearish impulse to now go to this lower high, and there is no possibility to sell here because we only have a first impulse and a first pullback. Therefore, there is no valid bearish idea at this low. Now, we move the next candle. This is the opening candle. Alright, this is the candle at 9 a.m. and this candle basically triggers everything. Alright, we have this high, low, lower high, and lower low. Now the market made a second lower low, and if you remember, this is the same thing we just broke down a lot of times in the channel. In the description of the video you have the playlist with all the M5R method videos that I have uploaded to the chart, to the channel, so you can see all the details, take notes of everything, and really factor in all of those specific situations that then present on the live market. But basically we had first impulse, first pullback. Now this candle creates a second impulse, creates a second lower low, obviously breaking the first lower low. But this is the detail: the candle that makes the second lower low closes above the first lower low level, right? So this little detail is actually telling us that the second pullback is already valid. So we can set up now the bearish rule of the third impulse at that lower low. First impulse, first pullback, second impulse, second pullback being made. The second pullback is this wick, is the rejection. Why? Because this candle is closing above the first lower low level. If this candle closed below the first lower low level, obviously we will need something else, such as a bullish candle or a bearish candle that is not breaking the first lower low, for us to take that in consideration as a pullback. But in this type of situations, candle that makes the second lower low closes above the level of the first lower low, that's already the second pullback. That's the rule. Take notes of it, and that will be a very important rule for you to then show up to the live sessions. So basically, next candle activates the entry. As you can see, it does it with quite a lot of strength. In the 1 minute, we can see that first the market taps into the line, as you saw on the introduction of the video, rejects a little bit, and then drops like 3 candles in the correct direction, and then eventually took a little bit. We had a nice wick to the upside, grabbing liquidity, scaring a little bit to the new students, but eventually the very next candle went all the way to the downside to hit all the exits. So yeah, that's a pretty simple setup, guys. The only detail you have to factor in is the fact that the candle that makes the second lower low closes above the first lower low level. Therefore, we already have a second pullback, and the very next candle activates the bearish pending order, the sell stop, because it's breaking the second lower low after making the second pullback on the way to create the third impulse, right? So with this being said, family, remember that on the description of the video you have the link to my Instagram. You can ask about available spots for the private group of students. We actually have a discount right now, so just hit me up to see if the discount is already valid and running, because I don't know when you are seeing this video, if the day that I'm uploading it or a little bit later. Anyways, hit me up and you will have access to all the intensive course from 0 to 100 with the strategy, all the live sessions from Monday to Friday in English and Spanish. Those sessions are recorded always, so you can see them all time you want. And obviously you will have access to the private app where we send all the ideas about crypto, forex, and all the rest of the markets. So with this being said, family, see you in the next videos.